So, Transformers, huh? I'm sure most of you have watched at least one piece of Transformers media. Maybe your first introduction was the 2007 movie.
I am Optimus Prime, and I send this message to any surviving Autobots taking refuge among the stars. We are here. We are waiting.
Or maybe one of the many amazing cartoons. Or maybe even the toys was your first introduction. Nevertheless, Transformers is a household name. Everyone knows about the robots that transform into cars. Although their track record when it comes to movies is rocky, to say the least. The first movie was a good start to this new cinematic universe. Critics really didn't like it, but the general public loved it. The second one was panned by critics and the general public, and then it just continued to spiral into mediocrity. Dark of the Moon? Bad. Age of Extinction? Awful. The Last Knight? Who cares, bro? Mark Wahlberg is in it. I'll never be Shia LaBeouf. Nobody can scream, Optimus! Like he did. Although they did seem to redeem themselves with Bumblebee. But with the newest movie, Rise of the Beasts, is it good? Yeah, it's alright. Is it? That's the video thing. Rise of the Beasts is weird to me. On one hand, it's undeniably fun. On the other hand, it's riddled with issues. But then again, I also left the movie satisfied. The movie has weird pacing. The Maximals, aside from Primal and Ares, get zero development. But on the other hand, the main humans are likable and charming. I'm looking at you, Cade. Nobody likes you. Noah is fun. And he actually has, like, an in-universe reason for doing what he does. You know? Again, Cade, I'm looking at you. Go eat some burgers or something. I don't know, I hate you. Elena is not as interesting as Noah, but she's like 20 tiers above Megan Fox. Okay, enough beating around the bush. Let's talk spoilers. This is your spoiler warning. No complaining about me spoiling. Okay, so right when Luke Skywalker dies, as I mentioned earlier, the movie has a weird pace. It's hard to describe. For the first 30 minutes, like, taking its time, getting you to know the main humans, right? Then bam, boom, bam! Transformers, explosion, wow, so cool! And then it slows down a little bit, and you start to, like, get to really feel for Noah, and then straight back to action. And the entire movie's like that. Most movies are like a rising action, you know? It rises up, climax, then it simmers down, yada yada. This movie is like a heartbeat. It goes up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. I don't hate it. The juxtaposition of all this big action with these characters just like chilling, being normal people, it's weird. It kind of endears you towards them. It leads to some good scenes of Noah and Elena bonding. Which brings me to the characters. For once in this series, the human characters are characters. Noah is compelling. He's written competently. His actions make sense. Plus, the movie spends time making you feel for him. His struggles as a veteran struggling to find a job is a real one that many face today. Everything about the character is taking the weight of the world on your shoulders. The feeling of guilt, the feeling of having to solve everything on your own. With him being a vet, you understand why he acts this way, why he thinks this way. It's completely understandable. So when Mirage tells him, hey, we can use your help, and I'll give you lots of money if you do, he agrees. He was hesitant, but when money's in the picture, he agrees instantly. Everything he does for family. Elena, while not as much screen time and as attention as Noah, is still written well. We've all had moments in life where we felt as though we weren't able to live up to our potential. So when she's just an intern at a museum, everyone takes credit for what she does. It makes complete sense she'd risk her career to follow the lead. It's this opportunity to prove herself to the world, prove herself to herself. Just for anything, something to validate all the hard work she's done to get to where she is, even risking her life in order to do so. One major criticism of the Bayverse Transformers is that Optimus isn't Optimus. He's too violent, he's too gritty. Right foot creep, walking with it. And to be fair, it is a valid criticism. This dude is psychotic in these movies, and it clashes with Peter Cullen's performance. But in the Bumblebee timeline, this Optimus is still fresh to the war. He hasn't been at it as long as the previous continuity. He's quick-tempered, he's brash, he's prone to anger, but that's okay. Again, he's stuck on Earth while people are fighting on Cybertron, and he can't do anything about it. Like Noah, he puts the entire world on his shoulders, burns all of the trauma, the guilt weighs down on him, and this manifests into reckless behavior after Bumblebee is seemingly killed. He blamed himself for that it should have been him. He should have done more. Survival guilt is a real awful condition. To Optimus, everything he's done has caused Bumblebee to die. If it wasn't for him, they wouldn't be crashed on Earth. If only he was stronger, if only they were to get home. It compounds, it grows more and more, until eventually Optimus is like, shit, what am I doing? Why am I feeling this? I can't let this get to me. My people need me. My fellow Transformers on Earth need me. And if I act this way, then all I'm doing is putting them at harm. He realizes that he can rely on other people. He has to, not just for the sake of his people, but humanity too. One major criticism I do have for the movie is that Rhinox and Cheetor and RC and Wheeljack don't really get much to do. They're not really characters in this movie. I don't think Rhinox has a single line of dialogue. Cheetor had one sentence. I would love to see them do anything but fight. Cause Cheetor's cool, so is Rhinox. Their designs are amazing, but they're just not there. RC gets to speak, but like, I can't even name one character trait she has.
Listen very closely now. I don't give a shit.
Wheeljack has, I don't know, he's quirky. That's all I can say. He's just quirky. That's his character trait.
Sin City wasn't made for you. Angels like you.
Although, speaking of fights, these are some pretty good ones. Every hit feels meaty like it should. Each punch feels like a level of building. It feels like giant robots fighting. What a big deal. What a surprise. Wow. A problem with the Bayverse movies, right, is that quickly the series just evolves into, again, CGI mess. It's just shiny, bright colors hitting each other, and it doesn't feel like it should. It doesn't feel meaty. It doesn't feel like every impact is there. Optimus fighting in the last night feels like a kid banging his two toys together, just bam, bam, bam. Like, what's the point in watching cool robots fight if the fighting isn't even good? That's why I'm watching this movie. So, Transformers, huh? Whether you got into it through the movies, cartoons, or the amazing toys, Transformers, again, is a household name. The movies have had their ups and downs, mostly downs. The first one was a solid start. Second one, and everything after that was just awful. But Bumblebee was a light of hope in the tunnel that is the Bayverse movies. With Rise of the Beasts, the verdict is, it's alright. The pacing's weird. It's underdeveloped with its characters sometimes, but I cannot deny that I left the movie generally happy. I was satisfied. The main characters, especially Noah, are likable and charming, and though the action is still, kind of a CGI mess, feels a lot more impactful, which is what I want. For what it is, this movie is a fun time. Also, G.I. Joe, what the